if you're a horse person. Friends, we are just getting to Honey Hill, and what I see looks to be quite the fiasco. I don't know what I'm pulling up on, but it does look like someone is pulling someone out of being stuck. And I do believe that instead of it being Jake stuck, I think that this big white truck, whatever it is, and Jake's waving at me. Jake's sitting there waving at me. What in the world, guys? What in the tarnation is going on here? And how did this big white truck, whoever this is, get stuck? And how did Jake's truck, his 1500, pull that big sucker out? And why is Jake laughing? Why is Jake always laughing? Why is he always laughing? Well, this ought to be interesting. I have the feed wagon. I went by the feed store and filled up. Look at all the dragonflies. Guys, I know you can't see it on the video, but there's a lot of dragonflies here. I mean, this pasture is covered with dragonflies. They're everywhere. And what in the world did that big truck have delivered here? And what's Jake laughing about? Why are you laughing?
Because for once it wasn't me broken down.
That's what I was wondering. Why's this big truck pulling Jake around?
It was me pulling out a truck this time.
And how? So I just found out that those guys were delivering some stuff, a refrigerator, but they were trying to back up Jake's driveway and not drive straight down it. And so we let them know that they could pull in and turn around. There's plenty of space there in his yard that's nice and dry. But I tell you what, they sure bogged it down here. Huh. That sucks for Jake. That just adds more ruts to, and so people don't realize how hard it is to get ruts out. So this is what I was afraid of. We got water standing. I backed up as far as I could. And so the continuation of what we started yesterday has to start way over here. And friends, there's no way to get a truck or tractor down in here with the amount of rain that they got dropped on them yesterday, which means that work today will actually not happen. Even if I were to carry the materials down this far, which I'm not going to, you can't auger into the ground when there's this much standing water, because all you're doing is augering into mud, and you can't do that. So I will say the only positive from today is that we did get the feed buggy dropped off, and we gonna go ahead and more than likely, we might can put since I already have 3 posts loaded, I might can put them further up the hill up here, and we'll see how that goes. I want to re-emphasize something I said yesterday that a lot of people did not understand. Guys, what we're allowing over here is a 10-foot DMZ. Which means we are not giving away land to our neighbor. You don't understand that. We are not giving away 10 foot of land to the neighbor. Instead, we are creating a 10-foot buffer zone between the neighbor's property and ours. In this case, Jake's. This 10 foot does not belong to the neighbor. We're not relinquishing 10 foot to the neighbor. Instead, we can enforce by having yourselves a DMZ or a demilitarized zone. What you can do is enforce that the neighbor be responsible for fixing his fence. Remember, if any animal comes through that property onto this DMZ, this is the fence that neighbor has to work on. That's how the law works. If we only had one fence and the neighbor's cows or even our cows were messing with it and pushing it back and forth, fighting through it or whatever, then it would be up in the air of whose responsibility it is. So, just like we've done over at the JL Ranch, we built a 10-foot DMZ. So when the neighbor's horses or the neighbor's cows come through into the DMZ, he's liable for fixing his fences. Now, we have been too cautious to take him to court because of possible retaliation, you know, something he'll have to do out of retribution. But that is the reason why you have that DMZ. Number one, it creates separation in space. Let me clean my camera off for a moment. It creates separation in space between your animals, so as they don't rub noses or rub other body parts, if you know what I mean. Number two, if the neighbor's animals come through that DMZ into the no man's land, he's liable. He's liable because this is still property that belongs to Shirtless Jake Homestead, or my nephew Jake. So don't get it confused, don't get it twisted, and don't think that we're giving up land. No, what you're doing is allowing a small piece of stretch of land, which is nothing more than tree line, to be used as an area where no animals should be. His side or our side. And even though as of right now, there's no animals over here, that doesn't go to say there's not going to be at some point. Oh, somebody's drilling. All right, we're coming up on what I've been talking about a lot lately, that 2,000 acre ranch property. Now, no one's behind me, so I'm gonna go ahead and slow down a little bit. It starts right here on, I'm not gonna give you the directions to it, there's no need and all that, but it starts over here on this crossroad, and then it runs down alongside the front of this highway, which is really awesome. All right, so there's no one behind me, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about this setup they got going here. This is that new ranch property, that 2,000 acre ranch that I think is just going to be awesome. You can see that they're working today on getting some of the high fence put up, corner post in the ground. A lot of the fencing is going up along through the front of the ranch property. I told you guys are gonna use it not only for cattle, but also for deer. Now the sun glare may be at a really bad angle, and I might not be able to video very well, darn it. But I want to show you a couple of spots along here that's just going to be gorgeous. So hold on just for a second or so, and let me show you what I think is going to be the most beautiful spot of all. You might be able to see a little bit. So this is all part of the wooded acreage, and they got that high fence going up. Lots of workers here. Just hold on for a minute though. All right, so we're still driving along that ranch property. Problem is now there's guys behind me, so I can't really go as slow as I want to. Now this is all still part of the wooded property, but just hold on a second or so. I gotta speed up a little bit. I'm gonna leave my windows down so I can, oh, he's coming around, never mind. Just hold on. All right, I have put my flashers on. Guys, look how this property opens up and goes into these big, beautiful fields here behind that windroll. Just give us a second or so here. I know I'm not doing this property justice. This place is gonna be gorgeous though. Can you imagine longhorn and deer out grazing across there. I'm gonna have to come by and meet this guy at some point, get to know him, because guys, we're only a mile apart. He's right down the road from us. I mean, he's just right down the road. There's one more scene. Looky here. Let this traffic clear and look out across there. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna pull in. Guys, Lester's gonna trespass. Y'all just hold on. I'm just gonna trespass. Ain't no one living here yet. There ain't no one living here yet. I'm just trespassing. Think about it. We may never get another chance to trespass on this person's property. Lester, how would you feel when people trespass onto your place? Well, I don't like it, but I live here, okay? I live on my place, but look at this. Now listen to me. This was all wooded not long ago. You can see where they've cut a lot of the trees out of here, all down through that little ravine right there, and all along through. I'm not going to drive too far, but look at the hills, and this is going to be just a gorgeous piece of property, guys. And like I said, I'm practically neighbors with this fella. Yeah, neighbors. But 2,000 acres. And then I talked to I got an email from somebody. No, it wasn't an email. It was a comment that I read. In Australia, 2,000 acres is actually a small ranch. Yes, they have one ranch in Australia that's larger than the state of Texas as far as the square miles and stuff. Isn't that something? Anyway, I know you guys don't care about stuff like this, but I do. This guy's gonna be my neighbor, and I can't wait to meet him, get to know him, and hopefully I might be invited back if I'm nice enough.
Don't let your troubles fester. Come watch Longhorn Lester.
Yeah, something like that.